March 15th, St. Patty's Day is right around the corner. The theme is luck. Everyone's thinking of Ireland. So here's a story about San Antonio, Texas. My freshman year of high school, I went to Ronald Reagan High School, which is a place. It exists in San Antonio, Texas. And my freshman year, I took a geography class that was taught by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Swinney. And Mr. Swinney was very much of the old school in that he gave zero shits about what anyone thought about his methods. So he'd take us like on nature walks on the ranch that was directly against the property of the school. Had culture days where people brought in food and stuff from the regions that we were studying. Just a really cool, awesome teacher. And he was also the type of teacher that really cared about his students and the success of his students, to the point that, you know, if someone failed, he took it personally in that he had failed to teach this kid. And he was the type of teacher that you didn't want to let down. You wanted to do well in his class, because if you didn't, you were letting this man down, and he was working very hard to not let that happen. But every Friday, he would get up in front of the class and give his monologue about how it was the great American weekend. Go outside, go camping, go hiking, go fishing, get lost, get hurt, scrape your knees, rub some dirt in it, walk it off. And by the end of the day, that was my last class on Friday, and I, immediately would walk home from school through the ranch, drop my bag off, and go back out on the ranch and spend a lot of time outside. But at the end of the year, Mr. Swinney invited all of his students to his family ranch outside of San Antonio for just an afternoon of the Great American Weekends, going outside, going hiking, camping, fishing. He had a lake. It was a pond. But it's been stocked with catfish, and so there was, canoeing, kayaking, hiking. It was just a great afternoon outside. And at the end of the day, the sun started going down, and we piled up a bunch of, scrap wood, and there's not a whole lot of wood, big wood in Texas, very small wood. And we had a bonfire, and we were sitting around talking about the wonderful day we just had. And then it was time to go home, and this had all been coordinated. People carpooled, and we were all meeting back at the parking lot of this sporting goods store. And but some people had left, early during the day, and when it was time to load up all the cars and get back, there was one seat shy of a full transport. And Mr. Swinney drove this tiny little beat-up Toyota pickup truck, and we were loading up, and I said, "It's fine. I'll ride in the bed. This is Texas. That's kosher." And so he was kind of hesitant, and I told him it'll be fine. I'll sit in the bed. We've got towels. Sun was going down. It was getting kind of chilly. I'll wrap up in the towels, and I'll ride in the bed with my 2 fish that I had proudly caught. And so I was just climbing into the bed of the pickup truck when the other car had said, "We just rearranged some stuff, we've got a seat." And the seat was like this wide between 2 very large classmates, and I really would rather have ridden in the bed of the pickup. But Mr. Swinney looked at me, he said, "Look, I'd feel much better if you rode in the cab of this car with a seatbelt." I said, "Okay, all right, that's fine." So we drove back, and the van that I was riding in made it to the parking lot, and we started waiting for Mr. Swinney and the other 2 kids to get there, and we waited, and we waited, and we waited, and we were the only ones. It was kind of late at night, the only ones at the parking lot, and we saw a car coming in to the parking lot. We thought, "Oh, good, no, it's not Mr. Swinney. That's not his pickup truck." And someone had driven right up to us and said, "Are you waiting for Mr. Swinney?" We said, "Yeah." And they said he was in an accident with an 18-wheeler, and it rolled a couple times. The car was completely destroyed, and Mr. Swinney and the 2 students that were with him were in the hospital. And so I'm kind of sitting there thinking, like, fuck. I was like this close to being in the bed of that pickup truck. And so that week at school, he brought in pictures of his truck, and he slid one to me. And you would not have recognized it as a vehicle. And most of my luck has been narrow escapes from really shitty luck. But that's good enough for me. Thank you.